Hi, everybody. My name is Trisha Gomez with Dance in a Box and RhythmWorks Integrative Dance. I wanted to pop on because we've been getting a lot of questions about our brand new NSYNC Action Plan series. And I wanted to kind of introduce you to the creators and go through what it all involves so that you can kind of see what it is. It is an 8-month lesson plan, like week by week, class by class. Here's exactly what you do. It is done for you. You don't have to stress about it. You literally just hand it over to your students, or not to your students, to your teachers, and they have exactly what they need to do every day. It really takes all the guesswork out of it. So what I want to do is I want to introduce you to two really awesome and important people, and I'll ask them some questions, and then we will show you a little sneak peek of the lesson plan. So first of all, I want to introduce you over to Terry Mangiarotti. She's, well, no, that way. Terry is the owner of NSYNC. Terry, where are you guys located?
We are right outside of Boston, Mass, in a city called Quincy.
Awesome. And how long have you had the studio?
We are in our 24th season.
Woo!
Yeah.
Excellent. And at what point, so I want to talk to you as a studio owner, from a perspective of a studio owner. At what point did you finally go, you know what, it would make sense if we really it had some lesson plans, and it would, to help organize the studio? At what point did you figure that out?
Sure. Well, in the beginning, just like most studio owners, I taught every class. So that was easy. I went in, taught every class, figured it out week by week. As I grew and we started adding teachers to the program, it was more important for me to communicate with our teachers what we were teaching in each class. So in the very beginning, it was weekly. I was giving out lesson plans for what to teach this week. And then that quickly got old because the weeks go by fast and it was hard to keep on top of. So we switched to a monthly lesson plan model. And we did that for a number of years until even the months go by quick. So once we got big enough where we had a handful of teachers, I was trying to kind of manage and make sure our program was comprehensively the same in every single class. We started writing out all of our lesson plans over the summer, and kind of rolling that out at our summer staff training. And so we would have the entire year planned out for everyone. Yeah, and that's been so helpful. We've been doing that for so long. It's been super successful, and we're excited now to just be able to share it with everybody.
Yes, I'm very excited too. Now, Amy Enos down here, she is brilliant, first of all, and it is her hand who has helped to pen these lesson plans that we have available for you. But before we get to that, Amy, I want to ask you, from a teacher's perspective, your studio owner comes to you and says, hey, here's what we want you to teach in class. How did that change things for you? Did it make it easier? Was it a struggle at first? What was your experience with that?
So it definitely made it easier because I didn't have to think about it, and it was all written out for me. And it was easier. It was easier because everything was all planned out for me. And even if I went into sub there, for somebody else, I wouldn't even have to think about it because it's happening throughout the whole studio. The same plan, the same week by week situation. So I found it easier for me. I also like it because it leaves a little room for, creative pieces for teachers to do as well. So, I found it easier.
Yeah, I think you hit on one really important part, and that's subs. Because when a sub comes in, if there's no laid out plan, it's so disruptive to the students. But if you have a sheet of paper that you can say, here's what you need to do in class today, then the kids just kind of consistently roll through, and they don't lose a week, they don't get confused. It's it's not disruptive to them. So I can definitely identify with that one right there too.
Yeah. Consistency is key, so
yes, it is
consistent. Yep.
So, and this is maybe Terry and Amy, both of you, now that we're in this new e-learning life that is maybe here for a while, or it may end up looking like a blended version where some of the kids are in the studio, some of the kids are at home. Or, you know, maybe let's call it a snow day. What happens if a snow day happens and you don't want the kids to lose out on that week of dance? How would something like the NSYNC action plans benefit that situation where you have kids who are in an e-learning environment?
Right. Well, it's funny because once our quarantine began, I had thought, oh, I wish all these plans are out in the world already, because we've been working on them for so long, right? And we hadn't quite launched yet. But one of the important things, and I know we're going to scroll through the plans and what's included, but one of the most beneficial things, I think, are the videos that accompany the plan. So there is a video for every skill, every game, warm up, cool down, every routine. And had we had that, you know, if you as a studio owner had been documenting everything you do in your studio on video, that would have been such an easy transition to the virtual world, right? Like we wouldn't have had to go in and create all this content. It would already be there for you. So that's one of the biggest things I think that would benefit us as studio owners moving forward. I know I'm excited for that because we have the content all on video ready to go for the fall, if we need that, if we're going to be splitting in-person and at-home learning, or if, fingers crossed we don't ever have to do this again, but if we do ever go back into a lockdown, we'll be ready. These things will all be ready to go. You can just download them right out. So yeah, or just the consistency with the teachers teaching from home, even if it's not the video content, but if your teachers are logging in from home, or they need to communicate with parents what's happening in the studio because they can't come in anymore. The social media part of it will be important for that, as well as to be able to communicate as an owner what your teachers are teaching in class, even if you're not in the classroom seeing it. This is what's scheduled to be taught. This is what we're doing next week. All of that will just be so much more helpful.
Yeah, and I think the communications package too, it really makes you look like you're on top of it, right? Like, I've thought about the whole month already, you guys. We have it all planned out for you. You know, I think from a business perspective and from like just a pure PR perspective, it really makes you look like you're on top of your game there. I want to share some things with everybody so that we can get a little sneak peek right now. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see the screen here?
Yep.
Awesome. So actually, let's do this. Let me find my screen I need. There we go. That's the one. So when you log in, here's the very first thing you see. You click on this little picture here, your NSYNC action plans, and that downloads the entire lesson plan. And here's the awesome thing. It's a once and done. You buy the lesson plans. There's no memberships, there's no subscriptions, there's nothing. Like, you get the lesson plans, you download them, they're yours to use however you need to use them. And you can, share bits and pieces of the page with your teacher so that they see and they have them. Then every month, so like I mentioned, we had 8 months of lesson plans, but our warm-up choreography and our goodbye choreography stays the same throughout the whole time, so that you have that consistency throughout the whole 8 months. So those videos are on here. And then each month is broken down by 4 weeks. So each month has its own routine that you do, and so that choreography is here. And then each month also has its own creative movement activities, its own skills, all kinds of things, and all those videos are right here. I just want to, are you guys okay if I show them this little sneak peek video right here?
Yeah.
So here's just an example of what the video would look like, and this is our week 1 welcome month.
Jump up and down if you have the energy. You have the energy. You have the energy. Jump up
So you can see there's other kids there. And what I love about it, and as you go through all the videos, what I love about it is it's a real perspective, right? So you see kids doing it. You'll see kids, sometimes they're not always 100% focused, but you'll see some redirection there. You have it from a kid's point of view. And I really love that because it makes it real, and it helps you to understand what to expect from the kids. So you have all of your creative movement, and then you have you also have your skills here, and each skill will go through a couple of different, I'll just play this one for you. So it shows what a child would look like doing that specific skill. And so each month you have all of your skills you'll cover in that month. And then we have our communication assets. So each month you get a social media little screen here, a card that on this blank space down here, you can enter in your studio logo and your studio information. And then you get a newsletter, which is already done for you. You don't have to do anything. It's basically, here's what we're learning, here's why we're learning, and then what's coming up next week or next month, so that it gets them excited about next month as well. So these are super helpful. It helps keep the parents on the same page. Again, like I said, it just makes you look like you're on top of it. So this is an add-on that you can do with the communications package. And another add-on we have, which I absolutely love, is our coloring book. So almost all of the skills that we teach in each month has a coloring page or multiple pages for that week that you can hand out to your students to reinforce. I love that they're girls and boys. There's a lot of diversity in there, and they're super cute. So you can print these out from here, download them and print them, and then hand those out to your kids. And so that's just kind of a little sneak peek of the page itself of what's on the content page here. I want to jump to something else here. I want to actually show you the actual lesson plan here. Yeah, we're going to show you the lesson plans. So again, these are the things you're going to get in it. So 8 months of themed plans, and they're themed. And what I love about this is it's coming out in the near future. There's going to be different genres. So I think hip hop is our next one, our preschool hip hop program that's coming out. It follows the same theme, so that every month, all of your preschool program is doing the same theme. So it's welcome month on all of them. So I love that. They also have your materials and your props list, your objectives, and your skills. So I think objectives are super important because it just reminds us as teachers, okay, I'm teaching all this stuff, but why am I teaching it? What's the point of me teaching it? And I think that really helps us to narrow down what we need to be focusing on. So tons of at-a-glance quick references, and I'm going to show that to you in just a little bit. You have your playlists, material list, choreography. We went through all the video assets already. But I want to just kind of jump through. Sorry, I'm going to scroll through this real quick, you guys, to get to where you are. So you can see we have choreography written out for you for all of the different activities and choreography. I'm going to scroll on by down to our first month here so you can kind of see. Oh, there we go. So our first month, you have your monthly goals and your objectives and your skills and your material list, like I mentioned earlier. You have your prop list. So these are quick links to buy props for all the things that we'll be using in that class that month. Then we have our song playlist. So these are quick links. You can just go and buy the song, add them to your playlist. That's everything you need right there for the whole month. Super easy, you guys, literally super easy. And then we have our choreography. So as we mentioned before, each month has its own little dance you'll learn that month. So that's there. But then here's how we kind of set it up. So class by class, you're seeing, okay, welcome month, week 1. Here's what we're doing. Here's our skill that we're working on, our across the floor that we're doing. We have some creative movement activities and then our dance routine. And then we go into our tap. and then we do some rhythm activities and a parachute, and then we end it. So that is kind of a quick look at what the actual lesson plans look like. Here's one of my favorite things, and this is the at a glance, the whole month. It's just this sheet, one page, that shows everything that you're doing that whole month. Hey, Amy.
Yes.
Can you give us an idea, just from your perspective as a teacher, how handy is this? Like, tell us how you use this and what's awesome about it.
So we call this the preschool Bible in the in the classroom because it's that important. It is so super easy because the lesson plans are fantastic. You read them, it helps you prepare, but there is quite a bit to read, and you don't have time in the moment, obviously, when you're teaching. So I quite often forget what the creative movement was for that day because I have a lot of things going on. So this is just the way we do it in our studio is we have one of these in every classroom, and we just put it on a 3-ring binder, and you come in and it's right here for you. So I'm backwards, sorry. It tells you, as you can see on the screen, it's the same exact on the screen, tells you the month and what the theme is. And then whatever week you're in, you just go right across, and it tells you what the skill is for that day, tells you what you're supposed to be doing across the floor, traveling skill and stationary skill, and it tells you what the creative movement is, what the routine you're working on that month, and then what the tap skill is, your rhythm game, and then the parachute song. So anything that changes monthly, it's right there. So it's a quick at a glance. So it's super, super handy, like really helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Terry, Amy, do you guys have any other things that you might want to say or tell everybody? Or
no, I mean, the only thing I'll throw out there and I'll mention for me as the studio owner is we've been running our studio on lesson plans like these for years. And just lately, the past few years, I've really been pushing the teachers and the studio at large to talk in the classroom about what's happening next week. And because we have it all scheduled out and we know that next week is Teddy Bear Week, so don't forget your teddy bears, it's having a huge effect on our student retention. So that's one of the biggest reasons I think our student retention is so great, is that kids, they're not just leaving without knowing what's coming up next week, and they don't want to miss that next week class because they know that next week is Teddy Bear Week or Backwards Week, or the week where we're all going to dance together on at some point to have a glow in the dark dance party in class. So that is really helping the kids come back. We're having people, parents even call that day saying, she doesn't want to miss Teddy Bear Week. We know that it's Teddy Bear Week next week. So what can we do? How do we make it up? Or I also let our families know the week themes right at registration. It's in our student packet. There's a calendar and it says right on it, like week 1 is welcome week. Week 2 is transportation week, whatever it is. It goes through the entire season, so they know that there's a theme to every week and we're not just kind of winging it. And that's been really helpful for families to know that we're organized and they know what's coming and they want to get back. They don't want to miss that week. So it's a tool in the box of retention, I think, too, which is important to think about as an owner.
Yeah. And I think, behaviorally, because that's kind of I always come at things from a behavioral point of view. When a child knows what to expect, the anxiety is less. Mm-hmm. And when anxiety is less, behavior is a little bit more compliant. And so I think by letting the kids know and getting them excited about, hey, this is what we're going to do next week, from a behavioral perspective, that is like awesome and so on point. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Amy, anything else you want to tell anybody?
I think, one thing that I will say this at our studio, if a child misses a class, during the week and they need to make up in a different class and it happens to be a different teacher, that's huge because they're doing the same exact things that we're doing in their regular class. So I think that for me as a mom and a teacher, that's huge, so.
That is huge. And I think with this, like say a kid had to miss and they couldn't make up or anything like that, then if you had the band app, you could take the videos, download them, upload them to your band app and say, hey, this is what we're doing this week. This is what you missed. and then they
Right.
can do it at home also.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that, I feel like I'll just mention this last thing. It seems like an interesting time to like launch a product for the dance community at large, right? And we thought about it and talked about it at length. Is it the right time? What should we do? But the more I thought about it, I think we are all kind of reinventing our programs for the fall and thinking about how we're going to get through this time and what we need to do differently in the fall to make this work. And there are so many different options out there for how you're going to move forward and run your programs. And I do think it's great that it's a one-time thing. You don't have to commit to some kind of a membership that's going to last infinitely. And it could be a great selling point and something that can really help you get over this hump and through this questionable time. So while it's an interesting time to launch a product, I think it can actually be a really great tool for us.
Yeah, it's something to check off your list, right? It's something you have to do. You can't run away from it, right? And you have all these other things that you have to do, especially with this whole new environment that we're in, and who knows what the future will bring. So just to have something in your hands that you can check off. I have my preschool program, my choreography, my lesson plans done. Check, get that off your list. 3 less things to do on your list, and then you can focus in on everything else. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Hopefully it has piqued a little bit of an interest. If you have any questions about anything, please don't hesitate to email us or call us. We're happy to answer any questions you have. And yeah, I think this is, I wish I had this when I was teaching. I wish I had it. So thank you guys. Thank both of you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Number 1, seeing the need, and number 2, being so diligent about the whole process, because it is so well thought out and it's so developmentally appropriate. So it's something that when I saw, I was like, yeah, this is something I can stand behind because it is very well done. So to both of you, thank you so much for all of your hard work. It does not go unappreciated. To everyone else watching, go get your lesson plans. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.